It must be Tuesday night on NBA TV. We are Center Court. Good to have you on board. Main event of the evening, the only event of the evening that is center stage after all. Casey Stern, Grant Hill, Candace Parker, Isiah Thomas, and even though no PG-13 working his way back, KP after missing 10, and that guy never misses any in a big spot, and Luka doesn't miss many either. Stars aligning, and early, the Don. That shot's pretty, G, and he will get it off and do it with a step back and confidence, all sorts of different ways.
Casey, he was attacking the basket early on, getting to the rim, three-point play, trying to keep his team in the game early.
Things look good and were good, and then this tough moment to watch. Guy really plays the game, Candace, hard, no contact, and immediately we knew issues, and it is an Achilles injury. Obviously wouldn't return. Looks like it's torn as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, we wish him the best. Speedy recovery. You know, Achilles aren't easy, but no doubt he'll come back strong.
All the best, obviously, to Mr. Powell. Meanwhile, you see the numbers from Second Spectrum. Kawhi, struggle bus driving. Issues. Getting space, just the shot wasn't working, and Zeke with a guy like that as it was tonight, it's usually just bad news that the second half's going to look different, and it would for Kawhi.
Yeah, you know he's going to find a way to manufacture points as he slaps Luka in the face. Get that. Let me dunk on you with the right hand, slap you with the left hand, and that got him going. He was ready after that. Goes strong to the hole, again, finishing right, laying it up. You know, strong man. I like Kawhi.
All right, that slap with the right, then with the left, what is that? You hit the A and the B together on Street Fighter, Zeke? How did he even do that one? Meanwhile, lead, the fight seemed to be maybe over. It was 14 and counting, but Luka counting the buckets. He'd end up having 34 in the game. Porzingis, easy.
Porzingis said, I'm strong too. Help the little man up. I like when the big man helps the little man up.
Back and forth, Isiah not the shortest on this set. Can you tell he notices? Lead 11, 4 minutes to go in the fourth. And it was Kawhi and Doncic and Candace. This is the kind of stuff you love, old school with two stars kind of going at it.
Yeah, and obviously both of them started off rough in the first half, and they found their rhythm when the game was on the line.
Fourth quarter, if he hasn't already, you know Lou Williams is going to get going, G, and we saw big shots from him on one side, but on the other side, I want to ask you about Porzingis because he hits a couple of big shots closing the gap.
Great to see Porzingis back, and as you said, hitting big shots for his team as they're trying to fight back in the game.
He missed 10 games, right? Fought the rust, then back off, and then back. In other words, that's the schedule and the Outlook calendar for Kawhi. It's worked out well. This is game number 6 in a row, 30-plus, but they're not done. Kleba and company working it. The Mavs take the lead up by 1. Under 3 to go. Swing, swing. No shocker, but Shamet hits. And then, I mean, this is, Zeke, he's so confident in these moments, Kawhi.
He really is, and that's where experience comes in. He's very confident, very relaxed, very poised at the end of the game. Makes very few mistakes.
Speaking of which, Doncic over Harrell. Ain't no thing. Step back. We talked about it pregame. Candace got it done. Lead 5. Nice little pass. Finding a seam. Maxey with the easy dunk. The lead is 3. They get the ball back. This all looks like it's setting up in the right manner. Because when you go the other way, look at the space, Candace, for Doncic. Decides to pass.
Yeah, I think that Doncic had a nice look there. I love him being unselfish at any other point in the game. But right now, you're a franchise player. You step up and make franchise plays.
And then we learned about franchise plays that a lot of people still have trouble making in big spots. Free throws, fundamentals, people. JaMychal Green, over 2 on one end. And then on the other end, Luka, similar lack of success. Missed the second, though, purposely. Rebound, Kawhi. Grant close. And Dallas made a lot of big plays late, but at the end, they had 2 opportunities. One, Doncic alone at 3, the other at the free throw line, and not able to get it done.
They give Dallas credit. They fought. They could have given up. Played well there that last 4 minutes, but just unable to execute down the stretch. And, of course, those free throws. L.A. gets the win.
All right, speaking of looking L.A. while they're in Dallas, 1, 6 straight games, 30-plus or more. The other, a jacket ready for Hollywood, 3D with Kawhi. Watch.
Kawhi, you get off to a slow start tonight, 3 of 14 in the first half. What went through your mind in the second half to take over this game?
We was winning the basketball game by 10 or 11 points at the time. So I just kept playing, trusting my teammates, kept my mind on the defensive end.
And speaking of that defensive end, as the Mavs are making that run, I saw you being more of a sort of effort trying to slow down Luka.
Yeah, you know, they did a great job in the first 3 quarters. And, you know, well, when the coach called my number, I got to guard him the best I can. He's a hell of a player.
Do you like what you see so far with this Clipper team, what you're trying to do to go to the next level?
Yeah, man, we keep building. We're trying to build, you know, winning habits, and I think we're doing that. We got to just keep moving.
And speaking of keep moving, when you get to your spot down the stretch, you're unstoppable when you get to the paint.
Yeah, I mean, I got to try to get to my spots, my sweet spots, so the team can come double me, and then I get my teammates wide open shots.
Well, what can you say other than twinning indeed? Well, look, 2 stars, and it's about duos now, right? The Lakers with 2, the Clippers with 2, but everybody's kind of had 1 because of health. Porzingis back tonight, big shots late, but Doncic stars and Kawhi more than enough to don to me the greatest of honors on this evening. Moments of celebration presented by Charlon. Champagne of the players. Play, Kawhi.
Oh, this definitely has to be the Sherlon play moment of the game, particularly on the dunk and the slap in the face. I mean, that is definitely a Sherlon moment of the game.
If you can't walk and chew gum, as long as you could dunk and slap someone in the face, you're in good shape. Look, in the face, taking punches, all those things. Again, the defense not perfect, and we were just talking about this as we're sitting there watching 3D talk, Candace, and it is, you know, we remember the huge comeback against Golden State with this group other than Kawhi and how they're always fighting. There have been times where they've almost lost and sometimes have games like this where they had them at hand in the 4th quarter.
And that's the thing. Clippers finishing games. When they're behind, we know who the ball has to go to and who the play is going to be run through. It's Kawhi, it's Paul George, it's Lou Will. But when they're ahead, it just seems like they've squandered a number of leads at the end of this year, at the end of the season. And so I think that's something that can be of concern going into the playoffs, even though you have closers, being able to finish out games.
Grant, as a player, and a perfect guy to ask, you know you could, in big spots, score and score, a lot of times in different ways, but because you were unselfish, you had that part of the – how do you know which one to turn on and when, right? LeBron, we talk about this all the time. Doncic had a 3. Not that he didn't pass up a shot for maybe a little bit of a better one, but tough seeing him not take that 3. How do you handle that and learn from that if you're Doncic?
Well, you know, people may say that was the right play because he passed to an open guy, but time and score dictates to me whether something's right or wrong. You know, you need a big shot. Your best player needs to step up, and he's wide open. And, you know, you could say he had 9 assists. Maybe he's trying to get a triple-double. Who knows? But the bottom line is the right play would have been for him to be a little bit more selfish, take that shot he's hit all season, even last season, wide open. And that could have, you know, could have been a better outcome for the team. So, you know, unselfish is okay, but in that moment, you got to be a little bit more selfish.
Now, even though this is the lead of our show tonight, I don't want to bury the lead. It's a big day for the Brotherhood coming up.
Hey.
And for the NBA, did we mention that? Wednesday night, he's here.
I'm so excited.
Zion has arrived. Court, if you join us every week, you know we don't just look at the present and pay it forward, and we'll get to that, but we also look back, pay homage to those who got us here, like an OG you might have forgotten, but you shouldn't have forgotten, Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf gets his first point as an NBA pro on a nice move down the baseline and a finger roll.
I grew up in Germany, so just like every German kid, I grew up with a soccer ball. But I realized when I started growing as a 10, 11-year-old, I kept growing. I go, well, this is not turning out well, and just happened to stumble across basketball at my school and picked it up and fell in love with it.
1-2 into the lane, lays it up lefty. Gorgeous move by Detlef Schrempf.
At that stretch, I felt like I was in the prime of my life.
Detlef whirls right by Ellis to the goal.
Playing the 3, you get to play usually the high-scoring forward, right? So I played from the Larry Birds to the Dominiques to James Worthy, guys my size, more athletic.
Oh, pretty hook by Detlef Schrempf.
So I felt like there was always something I had to do that was extra to become a better shooter.
Detlef will tee up for 3. Yes, sir!
Be a better rebounder, a better passer or something, and I thought you can always improve and get better.
Schrempf on the drive.
Oh, goodness gracious.
To me, it's the passion. I love basketball, and you know, if I could still run up and down, I would still play every day. It's amazing. I never thought I'd have that kind of career.
Grant, we were just talking about how soccer, both of us played soccer growing up. And to see a guy at 6'10" that can move like that and has good footwork and can shoot the basketball, soccer probably had a lot to do with that.
No question. You know, I think of Detlef Schrempf. I think of Hakeem Olajuwon. There's a Steve Nash. You know, obviously the foot-eye coordination necessary in soccer, I think it translates. Also, I think when you play soccer, it's not very individual. You play with other people. You see the field. And Detlef was a guy, obviously we're showing clips of his offensive talent, but you know, he was a guy that was a great passer, a great facilitator. He could score from outside. He was really strong and physical, could post you up, just played the game the right way. And I know I played against him, and he was just a matchup problem. But really skilled, saw the whole court. And I think a lot of that maybe had to do from his soccer, from his early age.
Well, he was drafted to the Mavs, traded to Indiana, and then he went out west to the Supersonics, where I remember watching him play for the Supersonics, teamed up with Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. They went to the NBA Finals, Game 6 against Michael Jordan. And you talk about that team, facing that team with a small forward that's 6'10", that can shoot the lights out from beyond the arc.
Well, first of all, that team in the mid-'90s, you didn't want to go play in Seattle. That team was dangerous. They trapped you all over the court. And, of course, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, they were phenomenal. But Detlef Schrempf was someone as well who was more than capable of having big nights. Might have had a couple of big nights on me, if I recall. But he just complimented, those guys. He was older in his career. He was solid. He could spot up. He could post up. He could, run plays, facilitate. That was a scary team, and a team that obviously lost there in the finals to the Bulls, but could have very well been a world champion, and a lot of it, Detlef Schrempf played a major role on that team, and just the versatility that he brought to the table. He really didn't have a weakness. He could do everything on the court, and was certainly a tough opponent.
Well, in this segment, we pay homage to the OG, and a lot of the OGs paved the way for players like us coming up, and I think German-born, we think of Dirk Nowitzki.
Right.
But Detlef Schrempf was doing a lot of things that Dirk did before Dirk. So can you talk about just how he kind of transformed the ability of overseas players, one, and players at his size to be able to play the way that he played the game?
No question. I mean, Detlef Schrempf came over when you didn't have a lot of foreign players playing in the NBA. And now, the start of the season, you had, I think, 25% of the players in the NBA were born outside of the United States. So it was players like a Detlef Schrempf and the impact that he had, people knowing, wow, here's someone who's come over. Dirk Nowitzki obviously took the mantle. You see a lot of the similarities in terms of how Dirk played. Dirk was just 7 foot tall as opposed to 6'9", but it was players like Marshall Lunas and Schrempf who were able to come over, have success, and sort of open the door and let the world know that it's not just an American game, but it's becoming a global game. So he definitely paved the way, and now the game has grown, and you see it's reflected in the players that are in the league.
Well, Casey, Grant asked before this segment if he's doing an OG segment, does that make him an OG? And I'm asking because I'm hosting the OG segment, what does that make me? I'm still playing, so hold on.
Not old.
Okay, good answer.
I played against him, and then I think he had that reflection of, oh, wait. By the way, the trade deadline, not yet, but a trade's been made. We've been traded to Mondays. Don't forget Center Court moving to Mondays starting January the 27th. We got more coming on the other side.